Welcome to the Fabric of America, the podcast that celebrates small businesses and the remarkable stories that weave our communities together. We're your hosts, Melissa Otto
and Matt Banover.
Matt is a fashion designer passionate about storytelling through style.
And Melissa is a seamstress on a mission to make sewing cool again and inspire the next generation. We sit down with small business owners, artisans, and dreamers to uncover the stories behind their brand, what inspires them, challenges them, and keeps them creating.
Because we believe that behind every idea, every design, every stitch, there's a story worth sharing. So grab a drink from your favorite local shop and join us as we weave together conversations about passion, perseverance, and the power of small business.
One of our earlier guests, Carla, she does these on Instagram. She does like a daily dose of joy. And our guest is named Joy. So
she was our dose of joy for
today. So this episode
really
is a daily dose of joy. So Joy is a friend of yours from high school?
We grew up together from even before that. We did gymnastics as kids together.
Yeah.
And she just has always been this person who was sort of my first foray into like holistic lifestyle type things. Like even before I knew what that is, even before I think even she knew what that was. She was always interested in like massage and like betterment of your body, functional movements, things like that. So she just kind of always had this like bit ingrained in her. And I thought that she'd be a great guest to have on because she has this amazing business now called Nolla Wellness. Mm-hmm. And really when we sat down and talked to her about it, what we got from her was about, the universe presenting these opportunities. And sometimes it happens when you're not ready, when you least expect it, or when you weren't sure that this was going to be your path.
Right.
And how that has sort of gotten her to where she is. Really.
Yeah. I came across this quote a while back, and it's really resonated with me, is that the entrepreneurial mindset is like somebody might look at an opportunity and be like, well, I can't afford that, or I can't do that. But an entrepreneur is like, well, how can I make this work? And I think she is like the personification of the universe consistently putting her in a position of just, you could do this
or not.
Yeah. And
that's definitely true.
She definitely, the way she talked about it was like, how am I going to make this work? It wasn't, no, I can't.
Yep.
It was like, okay, well, now that this opportunity is in front of me, what do I do now?
What do I need to do? Yep,
I thought that was so interesting. And she's also, out of all the people that we've talked to, she's pretty much the first that has had a business partner.
Yes.
And what that dynamic is like.
Yeah. It's crazy to think about everything that has to go into that and how almost cautious and careful you have to be to make it work.
Yeah. I love how she phrased it.
Sense.
She said it was like a marriage.
Absolutely.
Which made so much sense. And it was funny because it reminded me of our episode with Dan Hoagland. He has got a business partner, but it is his marriage.
It's his wife.
It's his wife.
Yeah.
So now seeing them as they, she and her business partner kind of navigate the business as it kind of evolves, I thought was really
several
great.
years into it.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for the listener to really hear what she has to say.
I think it'll be a very unique perspective. And then also we got into favorite pizzas, but so make sure you stay until the end.
Guys, please enjoy this episode with Joy from Nolla Wellness. All right, so welcome, Joy. I'm so excited to have you. So for the listener, Joy and I actually grew up together. Mm-hmm. We go way back to the day.
Back in time.
And I'm glad to have some of that like baseline knowledge of you from back in the day, because now you are the owner of Nolla Wellness, and you're in technically New Haven, or is it technically New Haven?
Yep.
Okay. And it's this brilliant, beautiful kind of all-encompassing wellness center. Mm-hmm. And I remember you and I, not that long ago, sitting at lunch when you were not in this building that you were in, and you were telling me your dream of having this all-encompassing wellness center that was going to be absolutely amazing. And here we are a couple of years later, sitting across from each other.
Yeah.
And you've actually done it.
Congratulations.
Which is crazy.
Insane.
But I'm going to go way back to childhood when I knew you. And I remember, I hope I make you laugh with this one. I remember there was a time, so Joy and I lived actually like right around the corner from each other. And we would get together and we would play outside and we would do this and that. And you said to me one time, you were like, let's make sumac tea.
What?
Literally, exactly the reaction I was hoping for. You were like, oh, let's make sumac tea. And you showed me what like poison sumac looked like. And you were like, you can take these things and you can make tea from it.
Faintly remember this. Oh my
and
God.
we never actually did it. But I remember like, okay, Joy, like you're doing the things. And I also remember like
parents were weird.
so perfect lead up to my question. But that, and I remember that you, I think as we got older, you were kind of into like, when we were all like with the girls, you were like, oh, let's do like a massage line or let's do this or that. Like you were always into this kind of like physical wellness, and you were kind of always honed in and dialed in on like holistic things, the physical body. So where did that actually like come from? Like I know you just said your parents,
my mom,
weird parents, but
I have to attribute it to my mom. My mother was a massage therapist before I was born, right? And when I was an infant, she actually, crazy full circle thing, she learned infant massage on me with the same woman who taught me infant massage.
Wow.
Yeah. I went to the training in Providence, and the name seemed so familiar, but then I had said, I wasn't married yet. Yes, I was married. So maybe she said something about the name Joy, and I mentioned my maiden name. Mm-hmm. And she's like, is your mom by any chance Rosie? And I was like, yeah. She's like, okay, crazy. You were the baby that your mom had in class to learn infant massage on. Wow. And now I'm teaching you. And I was like, that's insane.
That's really cool.
Like, I never, like, if you knew my mom, love you, Mom, if you're listening, but if you knew my mom and I are not very much alike, and not necessarily, I didn't think I would grow up to be like her. But she started my life out with massage. So it's like literally in my cells.
As if it's in your DNA.
Yeah. And then I remember she taught me the basics when I was like 5 or 6.
Oh, wow.
And I remember bringing her in to show and tell in like 1st or 2nd grade. Yeah. And we did massages, like little massages, like all the kids like had a partner and just like shoulder or whatever. Yeah. But I remember her, and even I, because she had taught me some of it, doing this. And then I was always the friend that it was like, oh, your back hurts, your neck hurts. Joy will fix you. Joy's like a massage therapist. Joy knows how to do it. Joy will do this. Joy will do that.
I remember that.
And yeah, and it never occurred to me that like this is something I could do for a living.
Yeah.
This was like just like talking to me. Like it was just what you did. And you know, it just more and more I did it. And then I met my husband, and my husband's a mechanic. And he's standing on concrete all the time, and he has a horrible back. And we had just started dating, and he was complaining about his back, and I was like, okay, lay down. Yeah. Let me work on you. And I'm doing my thing, and he literally looks at me, he goes, you do know you're really good at this, right? And I was like, well, I mean, I've just been, this like my mom taught me, I just do it, whatever. And he's like, no, like you could do this for work. Mm-hmm. And I remember like sitting there and thinking about it. And at that time I did occupational therapy. That was my career. I loved it.
How long did you do that?
I did that for a total of 15 years. At that point.
15 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
At that point, oh God. That was probably like 6 years in.
Okay, wow. And what does occupational therapy?
So occupational therapy is, there's lots, I mean, it's a very vast profession. But with what I did was we worked in short-term rehab, and we worked alongside physical therapists, speech therapists, and someone would come in, say, someone had a stroke. And the PT would focus on building the strength, focus on, any gait patterns, walking, transfers. We would work on that, but with a functional twist to it. So if you had no use of your right arm, we would teach you dressing techniques, bathing techniques, toileting techniques. We call them activities of daily living. So, but then again, like I had a patient, I love her. She ran a motorcycle club. She had a stroke. All she wanted to do was ride her motorcycle again. And I make promises that I don't necessarily I don't know if I could keep, but I told her, I was like, I will get you riding again.
Yeah.
I had no idea. But I also am especially with that profession, a true believer that it's mind over matter, 100%. If you are determined, you can do it. You'll figure out a way to do it. It's not
how much of that translates into your business life too, right?
Yeah.
True. I guess you're right. You're right. And I remember sitting there and her, I think it was her right, I don't know, one of her arms didn't work. And I couldn't get it to do anything, nothing. And I was like, okay. I held her arm up and I was like, vroom. I literally made it, and her hand went like muscle memory. Her hand started doing this. Yeah. Because when you're on the motorcycle, you have to go like this to start. Yeah. I don't know. I don't. Yeah. My husband does, but I don't know. Yeah. And she was like, and I was like, okay, vroom. I kept doing it. Wow. And she can ride her motorcycle now. No. Wow. But again, that's not me or whatever. But so that is her activity of daily living, getting back to like the basics. Yeah. So it's not just, the basics of, toileting, washing, dressing, cooking, those type of things. But if someone is an avid golfer or that's their activity of daily living. That's what fills their cup, whatever matters to them, whether it's eating, people like whatever it is. So that's why we always say, like, and my best friend is an OT as well, and anything can be OT. Anything. Yeah. Because,
that's why I asked, because I was like, I know a few, and every single occupational therapist, I'm like, you all sound like you do something completely different. So I'm like, because I never really had a grasp.
I mean, you look at an OT in pediatrics. Whole different thing. Right. Like when I went into school, I thought I wanted pediatrics. I want nothing to do with pediatrics. But like pediatrics, it's very much adapting a child's life. If a kid has autism or if they're nonverbal or whatever, you're adapting their life and it's continual. Yeah. You start at birth to 3 and then you're going to continue to go and you're going to need to keep adapting it throughout their life. Yeah. At least with me, it was kind of like an end goal. You broke your hip, get better. Go home.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Didn't always work out that way. Yes.
And before that, did you always know that this something in the physical rehabilitation?
Again, I have to attribute it to my mother. I remember standing in her driveway. I was like a junior in high school or something. When they look at you and they're like, what do you want to do for the rest of your life? And
they expect you to decide at age 18.
Yeah. And I remember thinking, I want to do something. I did want to help people. Yeah. So I knew that. Okay. And she was like, if you do something in the medical field, you'll always have a job. Yeah. And she was like, you know what I think you'd like? Like what? Occupational therapy. And I was like, what's that? Yep. Yeah. She described it as you play games with people to make them better. I was like,
nice. Okay. Sounds appealing.
I was like, sure. Yeah. And it so happened that my best friend at the time was going into dental and we wanted to go to the same school. So the school she wanted to go to also had OT. So I was like, perfect, done, let's go.
Awesome.
Thankfully, we both got into that school. Yeah. But I honestly don't think I really realized what OT was until I was in it.
Yeah.
Happens a lot, right?
Yeah. Like I did well in school, but I remember I did an internship at St. Raphael's and we had a stroke patient and we were doing washing. And there's this woman sitting in a wheelchair, naked in front of me, washing herself. Yeah. Normal, because when you wash yourself, you're not clothed.
Yeah.
And I remember standing there and I'm like, should I be seeing this? Should I be looking?
Right.
What, like, and then I was like,
oh, this is what it is.
Yeah.
Like, this is it.
And then from there, it just went.
Yeah. For years, my summer job was as a personal care assistant. And my neighbors their son is in a wheelchair. And I took care of him. And yeah, the first day I show up on the job, it was like, get him out of bed, get him breakfast, do this. And hours go by. And then it's like, shower him. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
you got to do it.
Yeah. And it was like, yeah, just there's like, it's a very quick moment of just like, okay, just to like do it, you know?
Yep.
And then after that, it's just, then like go to the bathroom. And it's like, then after that, it all becomes very much like, it's just a part of the job. Like it so quickly.
It so quickly
What was once like your whole life, this is the most intimate thing.
It's suddenly not.
Yeah.
Even though, and I remember so many of my patients, they're like, I'm sorry, I'm like, you have to see me naked. And I'm like, the amount of naked people I've seen in my life, you would not even believe. And then they'd laugh and I just make it a joke. I'm like,
right.
Yeah. You've seen one, but you've seen another. Like, it's really no big deal. And they're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry you have to wipe me. I'm like, you're human.
Right.
You can't do it. I don't care. I'm so... Like,
you desensitized.
So
desensitized. Yeah, you do like put,
well, I mean, like we could talk about anything while we were eating at work because it's just
filters off. Yeah,
it filters off.
That is so interesting that you kind of were already on this path of like healing people.
Yeah,
beforehand.
And I kind of wanted something else, like as a side hustle, and I did for a while think about doing like aesthetics and facials and all of that. And then it really wasn't until my husband was like, you should do massage that I think the next day I like inquired at the school. And then
that's cool.
By the end of August, I was enrolled.
Okay.
Like, I think that happened in like July.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a very quick thing. And then I was in school and it was that like aha moment where I was like, okay,
things felt like they were falling into place.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Something I'm always so interested in is people that do massage. How on the spectrum, how like woo your chakras align, the stars are in space. Where do you fall on that? Are you, because there are some physical therapists or massage therapists or something in that realm, they're very scientific about it. This muscle needs this. You're carrying your stress on your shoulders, which is but others are like, well, Venus is behind this cloud, so that's why you're doing this. And so where do you kind of fall on that? Because I'm seeing stars and tattoos and all of this, like, so.
And every flower on my arm is aligned to a chakra. I'm not kidding. Not kidding.
Yeah.
So.
And where does that begin?
Yeah.
I'm very both.
Okay.
I like to call myself a bougie hippie.
I love that.
Yeah,
that is accurate.
Right? Yeah.
That is accurate.
I mean, that's more with like my style, my likes, my whatever life. So I am one who, you best believe when Mercury is in retrograde, I know Mercury is in retrograde and I proceed accordingly. Yeah, completely. I know when it's a full moon, when it's a new moon. I know a lot of that stuff. I've got angel cards and tarot cards, and I did mine for the whole year. I'm very woo-woo in that sense. But I'm also I like science.
Right. You went to school for this.
They
don't teach woo in school.
Well, in massage school a little bit.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm. So I like science and I like facts.
Yeah.
To me, you can't question facts.
Yeah.
If it's a fact, it's a fact, you know? So when it comes to my massages, I think that I have a very good combination because I have the medical background.
Yeah.
To, like, I could be like, well, your lower back hurts because your hips are tight because you sit and drive a lot. So also your hamstrings are going to be tight. That's going to go down, and that's why the bottom of your foot hurts.
Yeah.
Because I think of the anatomical position, all of that.
Right.
But then at the same time, I can put my hands on someone and know their emotional state.
Yeah.
Which is also crazy. But I can also, I really like acupuncture and acupressure per se, because I don't do acupuncture. But they taught us that in school. And that really, to me, combines that whole woo-woo idea and science, because the meridians connect with seasons, connect with body parts, connect with emotion. So I can push on the back of someone's neck and they're like, that hurts. And I'm like, have you been having sinus issues lately? Or do you have allergies? And they're like, yeah, it's really been bothering me.
Yeah.
Or I've induced labors just from acupressure points.
Jeez.
But the points are on meridians that, you know, cause emptying of the uterus or something like that. But it's still like both together. So I really like that.
Yeah.
If you ask my business partner, I'm definitely the woo-woo one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm the one who because I say that there's definitely spirits in our building. And I'm the one who walks in when I open. I'm like, hi, good morning.
Yeah.
So
Just trying to keep the peace.
Yeah, exactly. Running out for coffee and we want something.
Right.
Yeah. I'm all about crystals, and there's a black tourmaline by the door because I'm keeping out bad energy. Like,
yeah. All right. That's so. Yeah.
I don't know.
I know that's not quite your wheelhouse.
I don't know if that really answers the question, but I guess I'm very woo woo.
Yeah.
I guess when I talk about it, it sounds but I'm also.
It sounds to me like you almost like center yourself or like ground yourself back in this like scientific arena. And I don't mean like, I use that to justify my woo-woo, but like there's a connection there.
There is a connection, and there's no science behind energy. I can't tell you why I feel what I feel. I can't tell you why I know exactly where to put my hand, and that's the spot that hurts a person.
Yeah.
That's just my intuition, whatever that is. But to me, there's still science behind it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And there's like something
Yeah.
that there is something that it doesn't matter where you fall on that spectrum. Everybody knows what it's like to walk into a room and be like, oh, it feels weird in here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, and it
The
doesn't
vibes
have,
are off.
it doesn't
call
have
it vibes, call it energy, call it woo, like whatever.
And we're not talking
There's
about
something.
walking into like a haunted house and being like, evil happened here. Talking like go into a dentist's office and you're like, doesn't feel good.
Not
in
feeling
here.
it today.
Exactly.
Yeah, it feels
Exactly.
weird. There's just something about like the art, the people's energy, stuff like that. We all know what that's like. I think that I am really good on picking up on that just from like a sales perspective. I'm definitely really attuned to if what people are open to and really throwing more at them or less, dialing it back, meeting them halfway. I always like to say that I think my greatest superpower is finding common ground with people. And I feel like that does come from some kind of energy and sense of that.
Yeah.
But I'm not ever going to be the lighting sage in a corner type of guy, you know? But I always find it interesting when certain people, and this isn't to dog them or put them down, but there are people that get into massage as a progression from their woo-woo type of extracurricular activities. They get into the cards, then they get into the crystals, then they get into the sage, then next, it's like a step. Whereas you kind of did it both at the same time. That's always been
sort
you.
of all-encompassing.
Yeah, that's
right?
been
like
you.
the
But then there's
totality of
also the science behind it. And it's been, I think that's nice that you're very much bringing it together.
Right.
Like you're not going to put this away.
No.
How to combine it to be the most full version of yourself.
Right.
Into the business plan.
Well, because it's holistic.
Yeah.
You know, it's bringing it all together, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
that
So
grand total.
yeah. So then, okay. So that was like a nice side tangent. So you're doing the massage on your husband. He says, start a business or look into this. 2 weeks go by, you're in school.
No.
It's done now.
Yeah. So what does that look like from the starting? You go to school?
Okay, so I go to school at night. I'm working full time. You go to that was like part-time school. So it was like 2 years, and definitely weeds the people out, because people that go in thinking it's going to be nice and easy, and then they have to learn every single muscle in the body and what it does and all of that. They dropped out.
Yeah. And this is all in New Haven?
No, this was up in Newington.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, that was a lot. So, I graduate 2 years later, and I get a job at a chiropractor's office. I work, so I do the full-time OT. I work, I think it was Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and every other Saturday
Wow.
at night doing massage.
Yeah.
Then I don't know where in my brain I thought this was true, but I thought that I could quit my OT job and I would make just as much money doing massage. I don't know where I'm not good at math, clearly.
Yeah.
So I did that and didn't work. I did not make enough money. Because when you're working for someone, you do not make, well, back then, you do not make good money. So then after like a year of being like really scraping by, I decided to go back to OT full time. So I got a job in Milford.
Was that tough going back? Feeling like...
Yeah. Did it feel like a step back? No.
No.
It felt like what you needed to do.
Yeah, it felt like what I needed to do. And I kind of missed OT at the time.
Yeah.
And now, in hindsight, it was the best thing I could have done, because I met literally my best friend and a lot of people that have shaped who I am now. So I went back. This was in 2014. I then did full-time and full-time massage. So I went from North Haven to Milford, from Milford to Cromwell to North Haven multiple times. Almost fell asleep driving. Worked 7 days a week. It was tough.
Yeah.
So then in 2015, I was talking to one of my clients. She's since passed away. Rest in peace. Love her. But we were just talking. She was like, why aren't you doing this for yourself? Like, why aren't you? She also found out how much I was making. And she was like, what? We're paying this much and you only make that much?
Yeah.
What? And I was like, okay, maybe, I don't know. You know, it's scary going out on your own. So I decided at that time that I was going to have a niche. My niche was going to be prenatal and infant massage.
Okay.
No.
Why? Why was that?
Why didn't it work? Or
No, why did you think that was going to be the niche you wanted?
I just thought that you should have a niche.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that
Yeah.
I didn't realize that I already had a niche.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
You know, like
Yeah. You're kind of drilling down even farther.
Exactly. So yes, you know, it's helped.
Yeah.
I have this other skill, but it's not my bread and butter. So in early 2016, I took the leap. I rented a space. I made sure I left my job. I had no clients, maybe 2.
Yeah.
And at that point in my head, I'm like, I just have to pay the rent.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah. Then it's a wash. Like, it's all that matters.
Yeah.
I'm still doing full-time OT, so I knew I could pay bills. I knew I had that income, all of that. And then organically it grew. And it got to the point where I was doing full-time OT, full-time massage. I worked hospice massage. I worked at Foxwoods doing massage.
Wow.
I was all over the place and stretched so thin that I decided I was going to quit everything and just do my business. In March of 2020, I made that decision.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. Well,
As one
February of 2020, because I gave them like 5 weeks notice.
Yep.
My last day of work was March 12th.
Oh, God.
That was
Then
the first day that they
everything went to
closed the
hell.
doors, like just
Yeah.
cautiously.
Holy shit.
And
Wow.
on the 19th, I had to shut down.
Oh my God.
But in hindsight, it was the
Yeah,
best time of
same.
my life.
Because you got a nice
I'm
forced
so sorry
break.
to everybody who was affected by COVID initially and all of that,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I
Forced
missed
rest.
that.
It is.
Forced rest. I was like,
Yeah.
when in your adult life is
Yeah.
the government going to tell you
Don't come to work.
you can't do anything?
Yeah. In fact, here's $1,600.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Stay home.
Oh my
You know what's so
God.
interesting is that I was working at another store and I spent like 2019 writing a business plan, pitching to investors, and it was like no after another. And finally in January of 2020, I finally got like my last no. I was just like, all right, I guess this wasn't meant to be.
Yeah.
And then the girl I was dating, she and I moved in together March 1st, 2020. And and we were just talking. We're very much like this is the goal, is for me to have my own business. And yeah, and then COVID happened and I spent the 3 months of quarantine just dialed in on the business and the business plan, and came out of the 3 months, went back to work. Cause I think I was like stage 2 or whatever remember they were releasing people back to work.
Yeah.
So I went back to work. I lasted like 3 weeks at my old job and was like, I fucking hate it. After 3 months of living in my head
Yeah.
of what my future and my life could
Should
be,
Yeah.
I went back to work with somebody and talk about bad energy. I mean, my old boss and I hate each
Not
other.
it.
Oh.
Yeah, hate each other. And like we would go weeks without speaking. You know, like we just
That's
did
not a good
not.
environment
Yeah,
to
we
be
just
in.
did not get along. We
Yeah.
were two different people. So going back after that, I lasted a few weeks, left June 2020. I started Bards, and it was the best thing. Yeah, I made no money.
Right.
I am still financially recovering from it.
Of course.
But it truly was the greatest time to start a business.
Yeah.
And it gave me so much time to go at it methodically and slowly, because when you start a business and when the world is going at normal speed, you're paddling your heart out, as Melissa knows, to like, make this happen. But there was almost like a little bit of a buffer, like slow it down. Like you got to kind of
I
figure
think
it out.
COVID made everybody get really clear about what they wanted and how they wanted to do it.
And like,
Definitely.
Is the way that I'm used to doing it the way I should be doing it?
Also,
I mean, those 3 months, it was like a light bulb that really made me realize I needed a work-life balance.
Yeah.
I had no balance. And then going back to work, I made it so that my schedule worked for me instead of for my clients.
Yeah.
It still worked for them.
But you had a space, right?
So I had 2 spaces
Yeah,
at
you
the
had
time.
2 at the time, right?
Or maybe
Spaces.
3 at the
I
time.
know at least 2.
Yeah. So I had,
And how do you get that? If
so I was
Joy
up
was
in,
nuts.
yeah, crazy. I was in Middlefield first but living in North Haven.
okay.
And so when I first started my first business, I was in Middlefield, and then I was like doing massages for a chiropractor in New Haven. And then it got to the point where everybody around me was like, do you have a location in North Haven? And for some reason, I'd be like, Middlefield. I think they thought it was like Middlebury, because they'd be like, oh, So far.
I don't
It's not
even
that
know
far.
where
Like,
it's not
Middlefield
that-
is.
Wow, how rude.
Yeah.
I know,
What is
right?
this?
My hometown.
Same.
What is this place you made
It's
up?
near Middletown. Shush your mouth.
Middlefield?
Yeah.
It's
I live in
It's a
Middletown.
little field. And
Yeah, literally how it got
It's
its
the
name.
middle of a little field.
They called it Middletown and Middlefield. That's
Yes.
literally where the names came from.
it's in the middle of the state.
Wow.
It was a field first. Lovely.
Maybe I've driven through it to get to the highway.
Probably not.
Yeah, probably.
Probably not.
Because like sometimes,
Lyman Orchards. You know where Lyman Orchards is?
yeah, sometimes it
Middlefield,
sends me
right there.
west, and I go through nothing.
No man's land. Yeah.
And then it spits me out of the highway on the other side.
All right.
So
Maybe.
Anyway.
Possibly. So then I was like, oh, I guess I probably should have a place in North Haven because.
Everybody's asking.
Yeah.
There's clearly demand.
So then
for
I
it.
got a office in North Haven. Now, granted, with that one I was sharing, so I had specific days.
Mm-hmm.
And then while I was at the chiropractor's, I met an owner of a CrossFit who was like, "You should come to our CrossFit and massage there."
That.
So then I was like in 3 different places. Again, like this is
And you're the only person working.
just me, 3 different places, working full-time OT, also doing shifts at the casino, and also doing hospice massage. This is why I say I was spread so thin.
Yeah.
So then once COVID came, I like demolished everything and made it North Haven, Middlefield.
Gotcha.
And like North Haven is Tuesday, Wednesday, Middlefield's Thursday, Friday, done. That's it.
Yeah.
So that was great. That was 2020. And mind you, in 2019, this is where like the whole Nolla thing came from. In 2019, I went to Canada with my best friend, her husband, and her 1-year-old. I was like the nanny of the trip.
Okay.
But because I was the nanny of the trip, I got a free spa day, which was wonderful. This spa that they have we were in Montreal, it's called Scandinave, and it's the pools. It's the Scandinavian idea of the steam room, the sauna, the cold plunge, the hot baths, the whole water journey healing. And my best friend and I were like, this is brilliant.
Yeah.
This place is awesome.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Like a huge investment, but people are just paying you to use your pools. Like,
Yeah.
so we had this idea. We're like, someday we're going to open a wellness place like this. And we came up with like a name that really would be too hard to say. And
Something fancy.
right. And then later on, like this whole idea kept going. And it was like a someday thing. And then in 22, where are we?
What is time, my friend?
Seriously, in 22, I got a phone call from the chiropractor that I used to work for wanting to talk to me. So then instantly I call my client, who's her hairdresser and friend, who's my hairdresser. I'm like, why is she calling me? What?
Yeah.
What is the meaning of this?
Yeah.
Right, because I couldn't just call her
You gotta
now.
brace yourself.
Right, yeah.
You need some background.
She's like, so she was getting her hair done and she was saying how that she might have the space available. And I was like, well, Joy's always wanted to open a wellness center. You should ask her if she wants to rent it. And I was like,
She
because
totally advocated.
Yeah.
I've seen this place. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
So of course, then I talked to Francine and she's like, listen, this might be available. This is what's going on, blah, blah, blah. Come look at it. You have first right of refusal. If you want it, it's yours.
Wow. That's really nice.
Very nice. That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Right.
So I went, and of course, in my head, I'm like, ooh, like I could do this, I could do that, I could do this. But financially, I'm like, this is a no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is not possible.
Yeah.
Like, this was not in my timeline.
Because at that point, what's revenue look like? Are you breaking even? Are you profitable? Your other 2 spaces?
I am profitable for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
But this is just me. If I'm going to start a wellness center,
Yeah.
Right.
You need people.
the rent in New Haven is insane.
Yeah.
The utilities, the bills. Then I need people to work for me. Then I need a front desk staff.
Yeah.
There's so many
Right.
not missing, so many working
Spaces to
pieces.
fill.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
So plus it's like, okay, if I want to do this wellness center, what do I bring in? Because I clearly can't do pools right now. I'm thinking COVID, people like don't want to be in big groups still. So I'm like, we could do the same idea, but like a individual session type of thing. So it was a no, it was a no, it was a no. And then it was could I do this? I remember sitting there and I'm like, is this like a thing?
Yeah.
And then in my head, I'm like, Joy, maybe this is the universe just being like, you got to just do it.
Just try.
Like, just try, because
How often does that opportunity come
Exactly.
up? Where it's
And it's a
person that you
great
used to know.
location.
You have built-in trust with that person who's kind of handing the reins off to you. And then, so they obviously believe in you enough to be like, here's my piece of property, really, right? Like, I think you would be good for this. And then you being able to step back and look at that big picture, like opportunity might be knocking right here. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so you've got this, duffel bag of skills that you've carried with you throughout this time, and you're pragmatic and also ambitious, and you have idea, you know what I mean? Like, everything is just kind of like,
Well, and the way my brain works is like, once I get it in my head, I can't.
Well, that's why you were in school a week later for
right.
massage.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's so
Makes sense to me.
I kind of went, it's crazy to me thinking back that I like kind of went with it like it was happening, even though like I had no fun. I didn't know how I was going to fund this.
Yeah.
And, thank God I have an amazing family. My husband, my aunts, my mom, my dad, my own savings, like put everything into it. And then I still needed more.
Yeah.
And I just happened to be, I was like looking for different investors. I wrote this great business plan, like learned how to do that. And I was like showing it to different people. And it was one of those things where I think people were a little nervous because I hadn't done anything of that scale. Like, I could show that I'm a good business person, but I'm good for myself. I've never,
Yeah.
Right.
So then
Animal.
I just like happened to be on the phone with my friend who's now also my business partner, and we were just catching up, and I mentioned this plan to her, and she was like, you do know that like this is totally something I would do with you. And I'm like, really? And she's like, yeah. She's like, send me your business plan and I'll show it to my husband and we'll go over it and I'll let you know. And then within, I think that was around Christmas time, within a week, it was a yes.
Wow.
Which I was like, so we're getting married.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Right? Get the paperwork going.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it just was like full speed once January 1st happened in 2023, full speed, because we had to open April 1st and we had to build a salt cave. We had to do tons of stuff. So
what was it like? Like, my big question has always been about partnership, because you're one of the only people that we've talked to who has a business partner. We talked to Dan, who had a partner who was his wife. That's a different animal.
Yeah.
You have someone who is a friend, a colleague. Now you're professional business partners. How did that like take shape, and how are you guys like working it to, obviously we need protections in there for each one of you. How does it work with the business? It's got to be a little bit like scary and intimidating at the same time as it's like exciting, and you know, you've got that built-in trust from being friends.
So from a legal standpoint, we have a very detailed, nothing's ironclad, but a very detailed partnership agreement. We call it like a prenup.
Yeah, right.
So for us, ours, we did it where it was like a 3-year, the first one's 3-year kind of thing. And then we, like, at the end of the 3 years, if one wants out, if one, like, we can renegotiate all of that. No hard feelings. So we had many conversations prior to all of this where it was, listen, we're friends first. Business is business, but,
Right.
you know, if she didn't want to do the business tomorrow, if she couldn't do the business tomorrow, I'm not going to hold that against her.
Right.
We're still going to be friends regardless, in my head at least. And I think both of us did not anticipate how difficult running a business of this scale would be.
Yeah.
And initially, there was tons of like growing pains. And I mean, we were there. We did a lot of the renovations ourselves. The two of us just, I mean, that girl doesn't understand that you can use a roller to paint. She did my whole massage room by hand.
My.
I was like, she was like, I painted it. I was like, did you use a roller? She's like, no. I'm like, oh, okay. You know they exist, right?
Yeah.
So, and there was a point in the beginning where we had to almost like we didn't have arguments. We've never really had an argument, which is nice. It was more a communication difference.
Yeah.
I would say
That's
where
like what I'm most interested in. Like, it's for all intents and purposes, your vision, your business plan, yet somebody else is the key to making it happen.
Right.
How do you draw that line between what's best for your vision, yet they know what's best monetarily?
So I think that's been part of the growing pains, because going into it, even for the fact that the landlord knows me.
Right.
Her office manager knows me. People know me. They don't know her.
Right.
So it took a little while, I think, for her to assert her, not authority, but like her place in the business. So people respected and knew her as a partner. And I mean, between the two of us, there was things that I can be very sarcastic. I can be very harsh. I can be very like, no. It's just
a little sass.
That's how I am. I don't realize that I can come across mean like that, but I do. And I'm aware now.
Yeah.
And then there were things how she would say things where I was like, thinking that she was going to bail out. So we would come together and she would be like, when you say something like this, it makes me feel like this.
Yeah.
Very much like a couple in therapy. Yeah.
Great.
And I said, when you do this, it makes me feel like this. Okay, going forward, I will do my best not to do this. And she's like, I will do my best not to do this. Yeah. And it has worked. And there have been times where each of us will be like, you see what you're doing here, right here?
Yeah. You can kind of stop and remove yourself from it real quickly.
Definitely. And I mean, I treat it like a marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do. I mean, we're in it together. We may not see eye to eye on some things. Thankfully, we see eye to eye on most things.
Yeah.
That's definitely, when it comes to decisions for the business, we usually are right on the same page, which is very helpful.
That's nice. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's nice having another person, especially really in the beginning. Like it was nice having someone that felt the difficulty of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Almost like sharing that experience. Like you're both in it together and you can talk and vent and Yeah. Built-in support in a way,
Right.
Because they're right there with you.
Yeah. And
they have just as much at stake as you do.
Right. Exactly.
It's not like your really good friend who's just like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like I feel for you. You're my friend. Like,
exactly.
No, they're like
exactly. They're
literally in it with you.
So it's definitely a fragile thing doing it with a friend.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you can't do it with some friends. I originally was going to do it with my best friend, and she was the first person I came to with the idea, and she couldn't do it at the time.
Yeah.
So, which in hindsight, I think was good, because now if we were to do something, not that we're going to, but I have more experience with all those crazy
It's
other
so
things.
good to have that kind of awareness. I remember, it must have been 10 years ago, my best friend Eric and I, our sound and audio, I needed a place to live. And the idea came up of like living with him. And we kind of came to the agreement of like, for the good of our friendship, we should probably
We better not.
we should not live together. And it was like not a bad thing. It was so like,
You're both self-aware.
you just got to know those dynamics.
I mean, I know for 100% I could work with her because we've worked together.
Yeah.
She's an OT. I'm an OT.
Yeah.
She was my boss she was when she was promoted. So I know for a fact we could work together. I just now know it's not like working OT and OT. It's whole
Exactly.
ballgame.
It's like we could live, Eric and I could like drive across the country and spend a month together.
Right.
But living together, it's like same thing with having an investor. It's like that person is there. They see every dollar, every penny, question everything, affirm everything.
Yep.
That one thing I'm very interested in, kind of the same thing Melissa alluded to, is like having an investor. I'm interested in like the sense of autonomy.
Well, so she's not just, she's a 50-50 business partner.
Okay, so a business partner.
Yeah, because an investor would be someone who just invests their money and they get dividends.
Yeah. So that's kind of like where my question was leading, actually. So that's great. Is like, how hands-on is she? Where do you kind of draw the line of, well, this is what the vision is? Are you both bought into what the vision is? How hands-on is she in like the day-to-day? I
mean, so we both are very clear of what the vision is. We both believe in wellness. We both she's a physical therapist by trade. So we both very much believe in the vision of Nolla.
Yeah.
Right now, she has been ill for a few months. So she has not been hands-on. But prior to that, she did a lot of like the behind the scenes things, some of the legal stuff, financial stuff. Yeah. And then she would, when she's at Nolla, she does acupuncture and she would be there, to help run things and all of that. Yeah.
Was that something you guys like pre-agreed on? Is that part of the...
Yeah, I mean...
Or were you just like, you're great at these roles? Are you good with that? I'm great at these roles.
We kind of pre-agreed on it. It just was... It's easier because I also still do massage. So I'm going to be there more.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's just how it's going to be. And I think before, when I had brought the idea to her, I had said that, if I had a business partner, it'd be nice if they did, some of the behind the scenes things, the business things that like I wouldn't necessarily have the time to do.
Yep.
Now I'm learning how to do all these things because it's that time of the year and, all the things. So, I mean, right now, it's hard to say because she's dealing with a lot of medical issues. And, the hope is that, she'll recover fine and we'll be back to the way we were. Yeah.
Awesome. I do want to pivot real quick to kind of get a sense of where you lay in the community of wellness. I'm really good friends with Kaylin McBee, Balance Massage Wellness. She has a wellness center up in Newington, actually. And she's heavily involved, all these different things. But I'm always interested in what you do in your sphere, because you could either be, renting a table, giving people massages, or you could have a wellness center. What do you do and how do you see kind of like the landscape of community around you? Are you going to networking meetings? Do you talk to other massage therapists? Do you talk to other people in your industry? Like, what does all that look like?
So I belong to a networking group that I go to weekly.
Okay.
All different professionals and like one person per profession.
Industry specific.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. So that has helped a lot. We have now really branched off with different gyms in the area, different just businesses in the area that are in that sphere, whether it's like Pilates or a training center or a kombucha,
nice
place or, something like that.
Yeah.
So we do lots of different pop-up events.
That's great.
New Haven Night Market is wonderful.
Oh, you go to that? Yeah.
Yep, we do that twice a year.
Yeah.
We are a Yale affiliate. Thanks to Marla. Marla got that one in.
That's awesome.
So, or Yale preferred vendor, I guess that's what we're called. So we're in, anybody who works for Yale, goes to Yale, we're in their roster of places that they can go and get a discount.
Oh, wow.
So anybody who's affiliated with Yale gets 20% off.
That's awesome.
So that definitely helps. I mean, I do the sound bath and sound healing, and I did 4 retreat days for the internal medicine residents for Yale. So they do every year. They were at like Stony Creek Brewery and 2 different country clubs, and they do this whole like retreat day for the internal medicine residents.
Yeah.
So, and that gives us, then at the end of the sound bath, I'm like, and by the way,
Right.
I'll get 20% off. So, and we've gotten some people from there.
Yeah.
When it comes to teacher appreciation, nurse appreciation, we always do those weeks. We've done teacher appreciation where we bring the massage chair to schools and they do appreciation day and sign up their teachers, and the teachers get chair massages.
Yeah.
So we definitely try to be very out there in the community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, anyone that I meet that's in the health and wellness, I like to promote businesses. I like to support anyone who's in business for themselves, anyone who's trying, who's doing the thing,
We all share the same struggles.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
whether it's a health and wellness business or something else, to me, if you're doing it, no one understands it except for the people that do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because trust me, you know how many times I get, but you're the boss. Can't you just take a day off, or can't you just take a vacation?
Yeah.
There are no days off.
Yeah.
You're literally,
I wouldn't change it.
I know.
Wouldn't change it. But
Yeah.
so whenever, in the community, especially around there, like, I am happy to collab. I'm happy to promote, have someone come in, anything, because why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Community over competition is a big theme.
Totally.
It's like you're also in an industry where you almost like some of the photographers and stuff, if a photographer is working on a certain day, they are unavailable. So they'll refer other photographers gladly. If you're giving somebody a massage, you can't give somebody else a massage.
Right.
So might as well support somebody else.
Well, and like, there's so many places you can go.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be mad if somebody doesn't like my massage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not for everybody.
Yeah.
Same with any of my massage therapists. I definitely vet my massage therapists and make sure that they're amazing.
Yeah.
But also, there's a million day spas all over. That's also why spa is not in our name.
Yeah.
Because I wanted it to be a wellness center. I wanted it to appeal to a vast variety of people. I didn't want it. Yeah, you can come and get the spa experience, but if you're a 17-year-old pitcher, who we have a 17-year-old pitcher, who's, going to the big leagues, and you need to like go in the cryo before, or you need to be stretched, or you need something.
Yeah.
You're not like, I don't want to.
You don't care about the frou-frou spa
Exactly.
experience,
Like,
right. It's a different animal.
Totally.
Yeah.
So
What's your most popular service?
massage.
massage.
Yeah.
What's your next most popular service?
Facials.
Okay.
But if it wasn't like a hands-on thing, the cocoon.
Okay. Okay. So tell the listener about all. I just want you to shamelessly plug yourself, or I'll do it for you. You have the coolest array of, I'm just going to call it stuff, the coolest array of offerings and stuff in your establishment. So I think you need to brag about yourself. So tell the listener what you have in your space.
All right. Obviously, with massage, all the types of massage. We have facials, skincare, Ayurvedic skincare as well. We have sunless tanning. Everything we have is organic. We do not do, everything's like clean organic. We have the only salt cave in New Haven.
Salt caves are wild.
Don't own much, but I got a salt cave.
Yeah.
And in the salt cave, we do medium readings, we do yoga, we do sound baths. People can rent it out for parties. We have whole body cryotherapy, electric, which is different than the hydrogen, I guess. I don't know. Ours is electric. It's a booth you walk into, gets down to a negative 100 degrees, and it's wonderful.
Oh my!
It's really
cool.
Yeah,
it's to go in it.
It's really
cool.
It's really good for inflammation, for pain, for muscle recovery. It's a great whole body reset because your body goes into fight or flight, and then you're flushed with new reoxygenated blood. Yeah. It's just wonderful. We have the Cocoon Wellness Pod, which is red light therapy infrared sauna pod. It is just a wonderful warm hug. It's fully customizable. Yeah. You can choose how warm you want it. If you want it very hot, if you want it no heat on at all. It massages you, so you can choose how much massage you want. You can look at inspirational affirmations, and on the screen, it's 25 minutes. It's wonderful. Mm-hmm. We have the Saluma light therapy, which is localized red light or blue light, which can be used by itself. It could be used with the pod. It could be used with a facial, with a massage. It could be an add-on. Yeah. We have localized cryotherapy, which could be for pain specifically. It could be for body contouring or kind of tightening, skin tightening. And what we call Frotox, which is on the face. It tightens the skin. Yeah. Which we also use in facials, a fire and ice facial. We have the vibroacoustic mat, which is sound healing, which is a mat that you lay on, and there's 4 different choices: energize, stress relief, relax, and sleep. I think it's just sleep. But depending on the tone and the vibration of the tone, it's right around your sacrum, and you lay on it, and the vibration actually moves the water in your body, which therefore changes the neural pathways in your brain.
What?
So cool. Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's like really one of those commercials, like what it's like to chew 5 gum. And it's
yeah.
Kids don't remember those commercials.
Yeah, I know.
Exactly.
See a commercial.
Exactly.
Dated ourselves.
Seriously.
I've done a couple like stuff. I would say that out of all of the things that you can do for yourself, I've gone to get massages done, probably the most out of any of them. Go to Kaylin. Yep. She works on me. But I've tried a bunch of other stuff at least once. Like I did float therapy last year. It was a nightmare. Because
float therapy, some people love it, some people freak out.
I freaked out. Yeah. I also, from what I hear, is it only starts to work second or third time, because the first time your brain is like firing every thought
freaking
you've ever had. Okay. And not just freaking you out, you're just like, it's sensory deprivation. So you can't hear, you can't see, you can't do anything. You can't even tell if your eyes are open or closed. That's how dark it is. So your brain's just like, well, what about this? Did you get this at the grocery store? Did you do this? What if this person dies? It's just like a million things because you don't know what's going on. So it takes a while for like the second or third time for your brain to be like, oh, okay, so this is like a thing. Because
I don't know if I could do it.
up until then, you've never had that type of silence ever in your life.
Yeah.
So I did that. That was wild. I didn't go back a second time. But I did try the fire and ice, cold plunge, sauna, back and forth thing. And that was a lot. It was awesome. But oh my God, those cold plunges are no joke.
You have to, that's where the mind over matter really comes in, because you got to like go in and
I went with 3 guys and we were kind of like just rotating and like 2 of us would be in the sauna and one is like just drowning, freezing out there. Yeah. And then, so that was, I don't think I could do it alone. I'd need
I think
the
I'm the
mental thing of like, oh, well, that guy did 60 seconds. I'm going to shoot for 60 seconds.
Yeah.
Get a little competitive edge to
I do. I
keep
need
you
that
going.
kind of accountability.
Otherwise, why?
Yeah, because if I'd be like, okay, like just,
down in.
Yeah, like touch my butt to the water and get back out.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is interesting how a lot of those things they do require some level of work to relax. I think that's an interesting aspect. It's not like massage where you just lay down and let somebody else do it.
I'm going to actually disagree with you on that, because as someone who has had many a massage, but has had like different areas of like tension and stress, I find that I am working sometimes when I'm getting a massage, because I'm working to calm my ass down and to like let go of whatever it is that like you would be triggering on me, especially like I remember you going in my shoulder and I'm like ready to just lose it, but I know it's for my own good and I need to like get that.
I think it depends on the massage. Not many people relax with my massage.
Yeah. But like that's why I go to you, because I know that at the end of the day, something will have gone off in all these different parts of my body that needs to calm down. And Joy knows how to get there.
I think that's a good point. Yeah. So much of what that wellness center is like, you got to put in some level of work to relax.
This is true.
I think that's a cool aspect.
As opposed to the foo-foo spa. That's a different, like they're just
sit there and just let me wave sage in your face.
Yeah, there you go.
I have ADHD, so I don't have the patience for that.
Yeah.
Like even we went to Canada 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, and when I'm a spa junkie. If we will go somewhere and we'll find a spa to go to, like, and try it out, and especially the pools and all that.
Yeah.
So went to this amazing spa in Quebec City, and they had this float room, like huge, concrete room underground, and there were lots of people in this float room, and the water was maybe not even a foot. Like it was very shallow. And they gave you this like pillow thing. And I remember being in there and we could not relax. We were like cracking ourselves up. We couldn't be quiet because like everything echoes.
Yeah.
And then after like, I don't know, 3-5 minutes, all of a sudden it was like, whoa.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't sensory deprivation because we could see, but you're laying there and you're like, holy shit. I am really relaxed right now. I mean, granted, you must not be that relaxed because you're like thinking, but I'm always thinking. So like my body though.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but I don't know if I could do the actual float tank because I don't have, my attention span is so short that I'd be in there and be like, I feel like it's 45 minutes. I think I'm done. Like,
the last 10 minutes, I actually rolled over on my stomach. It was just like doggy paddling around. Because I was just like, I can't.
I'm done here.
Yeah, exactly. It's over.
Checked yourself
I
out.
also like, so they give you a washcloth. This is so funny. So they give you a washcloth and they're like, keep this dry because the water's so salty.
Yeah.
Like if any gets near your eye, take the dry cloth and wipe it.
Okay.
And I just got in and immediately like dunked it in the water.
Of course you did.
Just like kind of muscle memory. I was just like, this thing should be wet. Dunked it in the water. I was like, God damn it. And then I'm like laying there like
with
all salty. I'm like, they had like a slug just salted up.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And then I'm like trying to wipe myself, but it's crazy. The salt water is so wild. Have you ever been in the salt water?
No.
It's like
salty.
10 times saltier than the Dead Sea or whatever the statistic is.
God.
It's so so salty. Your hands are like
You just float on.
they're
them. Like,
literally
that's it.
Yeah.
out of the water.
Yeah.
It's like pushing you out of the water.
Yeah.
It's so salty.
So cool.
Yeah. So you don't need the one I was in, you don't need a pillow. Your head's
Well, you don't need a pillow.
Yeah.
They just like,
Yeah.
for people who didn't know what they were doing.
people who can't float.
Yeah.
Yeah. Put
like,
the
I'll
baby
take the-
one where it's like
Literally, it's like a little like
Yeah.
floaty pillow. And I'm
Yeah.
just like, eh.
Yeah. That's so wild to believe, but we are at the end of our conversation. As a New Haven business, I think the most important thing is, what's your favorite pizza? Yeah, I'm gonna ask you.
All right.
And that's gonna
We
be the
are
headline.
the pizza
Yeah.
capital.
Of the world.
Yeah,
Period.
the
You
world.
can fight us on
The
it.
world.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
So, are we talking New Haven style?
Yes.
I'll give you both.
You will?
I will give you.
I want the New Haven.
I want
style.
your New Haven, but then if you've got another one to shout out, I'll take it.
Yes,
Okay.
100% I do. New Haven style, I'm going to go with Sally's.
Wow.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Granted,
Yeah.
it is very difficult to get Sally's,
Yep.
which is a little annoying.
Yep.
Sorry, Sally.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Sally's potato pizza.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, potato, onion, and rosemary. Oh, so good.
Yeah. I think that's the wildest thing about all these pizza shops is that you'd think they were these well-oiled machines. They're like,
Well,
tiny
they are,
small.
but
They're so
they're
small.
well oiled.
my
But
point,
they're-
Melissa, that they're so small that it's like one person making
Yeah.
this thing and you got to wait forever.
Yes.
Like I remember
This is true.
Dave Portner came to Meriden and gave some place like a 9-4. They have 2 employees. It was like a 3-hour wait.
Those are the best places.
You know, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, this is,
I
it's
couldn't
so
tell
good.
you the last
gotta
time I had
wait.
Sally's Pizza because I
I think it's been years because I think the last time I went, it was like a 4-hour wait or
right.
something like
Well,
that.
the last time I actually got Sally's, I ordered pizza. I called it in at like 2 p.m. and I called and they were like, yeah, at 10:15. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to order this pizza. We
Yeah.
go to pick it up. They're like, no, 10:15 p.m.
Yeah. Oh,
I was like, yeah, you could cancel that.
yeah. Yeah. That's like that's not even the meal you intended. It's a different day.
I
You're
think
having a,
I'm sure it's
whole
better
different
now. This was
strategy. Yeah.
a while ago.
yeah.
But hands down, the best pizza in New Haven,
Yeah.
the best pizza I've had maybe ever.
Wow.
What are you gonna?
The pizza that's most comparable to Italy.
Okay.
Oh, okay. That's
Napoleano,
okay.
true. If you've ever been to like the Amalfi Coast,
Mhm.
Zanelli Pizzeria.
Oh, okay.
Nelly.
All right.
They are across from Libby's on Worcester Street.
Okay.
Small little place.
Yeah.
They get all of their ingredients from Italy.
Wow.
So it's like light. It doesn't.
Yeah.
I
That's
mean-
not a New Haven pie.
No, these aren't New Haven.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's why I
That's a
say
different
Sally's
scale.
for New Haven
That's a different
style.
scale. Okay.
This is a different scale,
Yeah.
but
fair enough.
I will
Just go to
choose.
New Haven for pizza.
Yeah,
As a general,
I will choose
like-
them over.
Yeah.
If you're going out of New Haven, Old World is really good New Haven style pizza in Hamden.
Okay.
See, I love Naples and Farmington is my
Okay.
favorite. It's not thick, it's not thin, it's like we're in the middle, it's got a good flop. Oh my God, I love it.
Mine's modern.
Modern?
Modern.
So modern is good if you're getting takeout. Modern's my takeout go-to.
Okay.
Yeah.
The last time we were there, we actually ate in, but we ate at like an off time. It
I've
was
never
like a
eaten,
random
So actually, I don't.
Yeah.
off time, and it was awesome.
I don't think I've had modern.
No, it's really good.
It is really good.
You have to get it. Like
I
just
would
to
go
get
to-
into the
So
cycle.
it would go Sally's Modern Pepe's.
Okay. Mine's Pepe's Modern Sally usually, but Pepe's has been having some trouble.
You can miss me with Pepe's.
All right, you're fine. You're fine.
Yeah.
A little overrated.
The way they
I
cut
get
that
you. I
pizza
get you.
is
Modern's my number one.
yeah. All right.
That's why they're.
I think we should have a pizza day.
I
Since
like
we're
it.
all about the fabric of what
Come
makes
to
us all up.
Nolla,
Yeah,
Let's do it.
and then we'll go get
I
pizza.
love this.
We'll place the order at 9 a.m. and it'll
Yeah.
be ready.
Yeah, exactly.
By 4.
Have a whole day wellness day.
Exactly.
I'll be in like the cryo thing, feeding me pizza.
Don't go in. Don't last a second. in
No,
that
no,
cryo
I
chamber.
won't. I'll be like, set it to like 80. You know, and I'll just be in there.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah, that's the thing is like, I think a lot of what I've noticed is that I definitely don't as much as I like to push myself with work, I don't like to push myself physically. I know what makes me comfortable in this. Didn't want to do the cold plunge. I didn't want to do this. Every time I've gone to something like that, it's because a friend asked me and I'm like, all right, fine, whatever, I'll go.
Yeah.
I go and I do it. I'm good. But it's like, yeah, you're surprised at what your body is
capable of.
Yeah. And it's not make or break. Your body just does it. And
Right.
you're like, oh, okay. I do feel wildly different.
Yeah.
Like after the cold plunge and the heat, it felt like the blood was going through my body.
The cold plunge in the heat is the best healing, the best you could do for your body.
It felt like I was like taken apart and re-put back together.
Exactly.
Like I was just like, oh my God. Like, I couldn't even describe what it felt like, but it literally felt like my blood, I could like feel my blood like going through my body.
You can feel, especially when you go from the cold to the hot.
Yeah.
You're like,
yeah. You're just so aware of everything.
Energy taking.
Yeah, exactly.
you like expect like the beams to come out of your fingers.
Yeah,
right.
You're just like,
I'm just like in the hot sauna with the closed door, like screaming. Yeah, just like, who am I?
I love that energy for you.
Yes. So, Joy, thank you so much for being here. This has been so inspiring, so just cool to learn more about like your journey. Where can people find you on the socials? We'll tag you and all, but if you want to shout it out.
So our website is nollawellness.com. Very
Two
simple.
L's, right? Nolla.
2 L's, yes.
Wellness.
Nolla. And Instagram, Nolla Wellness, at Nolla Wellness. Man, that's basically it.
That is pretty awesome. How often should people come see you? Obviously, all the time. But if somebody wanted to kind of work this into their life.
New year, new me.
Yeah, exactly.
So I tell people that there's no like cookie cutter wellness, whatever works for them. The key is consistency. So, and I always say, like, think of your body as your car almost. You're going to get an oil change because you need to drive your car. And people forget that, like, you need to use, like, your body is your body. You need to use your body.
Only get one.
Literally. So obviously, like, for massage, ideally, once a month. But if somebody can't come once a month and can only come every 3 months because feasibly it's just not possible, it's the consistency to get your body used to that, like, reset. It's really the consistency. Whatever works. Whatever works for whatever fits into your life. But it's, even if you don't like to be touched, I get it.
Yeah.
Don't get massage. Go into the cocoon.
Yep.
It's 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Even if you could come once a month, it's still just doing something for your cells, doing something for your body.
Yeah.
Almost just that acknowledgement of your person, right? Like that you've taken a moment.
Too many people neglect their bodies.
Yeah, I like it because I don't go as often as I should, and it reminds me of my own mortality. Like when I go, I go and I'm just like, oh, I'm in a lot of pain. Like I should
do this.
I'm clearly not taking as good care of myself as I think I am. There's more damage here. So when I get a massage, it's a wake up for that. It's not like at the end of it I'm magically cured. Sometimes I'm just alert now to the work that needs to be done. And that in itself is nice. Worth the investment of time.
I agree.
And, going and find parking, making the appointment, all of that.
Well, so many people are like, I don't have the time. I don't have the money. You make time for what matters.
Exactly.
And does your body matter?
Yeah, exactly. Like put down one episode of Squid Games and go get a massage,
The polar opposite of a
yeah, exactly. Well, I think that's a great way to wrap up.
Exactly.
And on that
note, exactly. Yeah. Well, Joy, thank you so much for being here.
So welcome. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
I loved this.
Yeah, this was really nice. Nice way to start the new year. And thank you to listener for listening to another episode of The Fabric of America.